Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we look to the Terminus Decree and draw on our clearest source for what it could be, as depicted in The End and the Death Part 1 by Dan Abnett. It's a written instruction locked away on Titan under the eyes of the Grey Knights. Only the Supreme Grandmaster of the Knights knows of it. No record exists, and you will see why. It is said that it should only be opened in humanity's darkest hour. Light their darkest hour, you could say. That the actions of the decree could condemn or save humanity. There is a mad scientist from the Age of Strife called Basilio Foe, and he made it according to Abnett's book. He had created monsters during the Age of Strife, and now finds himself during the heresy on Earth, more specifically on Terra, during its siege. He's found in a lab creating the weapon, and the Night Lord is about to kill him when Constantine Valdor stops what is happening and, seeing some value in what Foe has created, hands him over to the Custodes. Now we dive into The End and the Death Part 1 for what the decree is and what it could do. Such is the danger in the throne room at this point in the siege that weapons are being created, put together as they are brought up from the Dark Cells, and Khalid Hassan, chosen of Malkador, has received a series of instructions from his enigmatic master. These devices from the Dark Cells, and to define what the Dark Cells are, they contain various artifacts dating back to the Age of Strife that could annihilate the Emperor's Imperium. These weapons are being brought up from the Dark Cells as part of the Sigil Protocol, one of 815 contingency plans for when things are this desperate. Some are new, others, Hassan notes, recent. The Custodes thinks Sigil is one of the oldest and was written into the contingency shortly after the devastation of Magnus's Folly. It is a sequel, an appendage to the necessary horror of the unspoken sanction. Hassan is panicked by what this has come to. The unspoken links to the Astronomicon and the gathering of Psychers. They're gathered whether they want to go or not. And in this book the plan is halted, but it's said it may be needed later. It's the sacrifice of the Psychers to the throne, of course. It's noted this was used once before, and even the Sisters of Silence find horror at what it is. Hassan has had various plans projected into his mind by Malkador, and it was done hastily by the Sigillite as he was about to sit on the throne. One that stood out to Hassan was tagged the Terminus Protocol. Hassan meets the sodality of the key, those who supervise devices brought out from the cells. He crossed authority with them, but Hassan tells them Malkador knows about Foe and his weapon, though Valdor had not shared that with the Sigillite. Hassan says Foe and his weapon should be held in reserve, and says it is signified Tier 20 and deemed a Terminus sanction. It must be made safe, and its architect too. Valdor's orders are for Foe and the device to be locked in the Dark Cells. Hassan says the orders of transfer are pending. It's then Malkador sits on the throne, so Hassan cannot get confirmation. It comes down to this. Authentication hierarchy states that suitable alternatives for a Tier 20 directive are the throne, the Lord Praetorian, or the Sigillite. No other sources are appropriate. And this is settled when they all realise that none of those people are around at this moment in the story. And so we learn what it is. This gifted geneticist, this viral weapon that he has created, can target and destroy the Astartes gene templates. It would hit both loyal and traitor alike if activated. Foe even brags that it can target the Primarchs. Those chosen by Malkador can deploy this, and later this would fall to the leader of the Grey Knights. This weapon would also destroy the gene craft to create the Marines. They would not be able to make any more, wiping the slate completely clean. I think we can assume that there will be some way to distribute and target this weapon across a span of distances as large as the 40k galaxy, if that's the intent, to reach all those Marines. Could it reach into the warp as well? We're not given enough detail to really support this idea, but it's one worth speaking of anyway. Perhaps some of the devices coming out of the Dark Cells can aid Foe's weapon to do this. So that is the Terminus Decree. Later the sanction, a targeted weapon to remove all the Astartes, all of the Emperor of Mankind's creations, a way to wipe the slate clean if they ever become a danger to his Imperium, and one of many extreme sanctions that can be deployed in times of greatest need. So now, friends, I turn things over to you. Drop me a comment down below.